remember some years back, the young man came to me after having an incredibly violent incident where he actually trashed his friend's car. And he was trying to sort this out because the next day he ended up having a fight after school with another kid. And he was working with me. And I remember him saying, I thought I had to be an angry person until the day I died. You know, whether it's you who has that issue or maybe someone who's living with you who's thinking, I thought I had to live with an angry person until the day I died, this show is for you because we're wanting to turn things around in your relationship. This segment is about the woman in particular who's getting abused. And so you stay with us. Now, Stephen, you talk about core values. When I read the book and I thought about people either losing it or being hurt, they're not thinking, well, what are my core values right now?
Okay, what are core values?
Get us started, yeah. Okay.
Well, core values are the most important thing to and about you. The ones we're hardwired with. Newborns come out of the womb seeking to form an emotional bond, a bond of affection that'll make them feel worthy of love and also that their love matters to someone else.
So these are their deep needs then?
Yes, that's the one where our brains are hardwired for that.
Yes.
And whenever we fail at that, whenever we aren't compassionate and loving, we feel guilt and shame. Now the way that guilt and shame comes out in a relationship is resentment and anger. Resentment and anger is really telling you that you're cut off from your core value. You're not being the loving and compassionate person you really do believe.
So you're not being true to yourself.
You're not being true to yourself.
Okay, are you saying everybody's loving and compassionate deep down?
Everyone's born that way. You get it hurt out of you. We're born feeling lovable, and then the world tells us we're not as lovable as God made us. And that's when you develop core hurts, feeling inadequate and unlovable. But I just want to address something that you had said earlier about this angry person. Nobody is an angry person. The angry and resentful you is not the real you. No more than the runny nose you when you have the flu is the real you.
Well, isn't it just a sign, like you always say, a cold? Isn't it just the thing saying something's going on?
It's a symptom of your hurt. Anger is always a reaction to hurt, which is why when you bang your thumb hanging a picture, you don't pray.
People pray for me.
You may call out some names, but yeah, it's not a prayer.
It's a protective emotion. It's telling you that your value is in decline now and you need protection.
So when a person then grows up with maybe abuse themselves or gets hurt or things taken away from them that were core needs or core values, as you put it, then what happens is they work out of a void, right? They have this emptiness. And so they're hurting, what, to get it filled, or how does it work?
Well, the hurt comes not from not being filled, but by not giving it out. In other words, value isn't something that pours into you. It's something that has to pour out of you.
Okay.
The miracle of love isn't whether somebody loves you. It's that you love someone else. Now, it helps if they love you back, but only because that makes it easier to love them.
Right.
The self-enhancement that comes from valuing is not being loved, it's loving. Because if you are loved by someone that you don't love back, that doesn't feel good. It makes you feel guilty, makes you feel inadequate. You can't give back something that you're getting.
Okay, now we got a wife here who's been hurt, right? And she loses herself because she's been walking on eggshells, she's second guessing, okay? And she's actually denying her own core values because of that, right?
Is she supposed to be feeling sorry for the person who it appears is angry at her all the time?
What she's supposed, first of all, she doesn't lose herself. She loses touch with her core value. It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
She's just reacting so superficially to her dangerous environment that she's lost touch with her deeper values. And what she has to do is get back in touch with those. She has to be compassionate and loving, not for the behavior.
No.
Never for, compassion is not about behavior. It means to suffer with.
Right.
She can feel compassion for the hurt causing the bad behavior.
Okay, but real life, how am I supposed to see through the hurt that is coming at me day in and day out to their hurt? Because I'm pretty much drowning in my own hurt.
You're drowning in the hurt if that's how you're defining yourself at that moment. I am a hurt person rather than I am a person who is experiencing pain. I am a compassionate, loving person who has been hurt is how you have to redefine yourself.
Wow.
And then all of your intelligence, creativity, and your whole immune system goes to healing the hurt. If you identify with the hurt, with being a victim, then all of your intelligence and creativity goes to showing how damaged you are.
Okay, now that I agree with, because I have women who, and it irritates me because they've seen themselves as a victim, and this is how they're living their
They
whole
victimized their whole life then.
Life.
Right. But as you said in your book, and I want you to clarify, you said compassion is empathy to try to understand why. Right? I want to understand why my husband is like this. Not to excuse what his behavior is, but to understand why. And to have compassion for what he's missing in his core values. Is that close?
The compassion is that he's engaged in very self-destructive behavior. Every time he abuses me, every harsh word he says to me is making him hate himself a little bit more. Wow. The most compassionate thing you can do is say, I can't tolerate this, I can't contribute to your self-destruction. Right. That's the real secret of compassion.
Okay, what we're trying to do, because I tell you, if you're in this relationship, it's like there's a big fog. And we are really trying hard to get rid of the fog for you to see each other for what's actually happening. Yes. Those of you who are in deep, deep pain, if you need help to get through the fog, we've got life coaches on our website who would love to just come alongside and walk with you. Go there. Those of you who've been in the fog and maybe you don't understand why you've been so angry and resentful, and the truth is, like Stephen said, you don't feel good about yourself. You need to go to boot camp, according to Dr. Stosny. So you got to come back and hear how you get into boot camp.